to the Sassy Sheep podcast. My name is Saskia and this is a podcast about knitting, spinning, weaving, crochet and all other things crafty, sassy and woolly. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as SassysheepNL. And L stands for the Netherlands and that's where I live. I've been thinking about recording a podcast for ages. I really like the fact that we can share. I love the fact that in the knitting community people share things and I really love that, and I love looking at other podcasts and hearing people tell about their inspiration and about their the things they do for their hobby and their crafts, and I really like that. And that's one of the reasons that I love to visit other knitting, spinning groups, crafty groups, or craft fairs, because I really love the fact that we are able to talk to each other about our passion, and I think that's just great. Today's episode will be a bit different than others because I'm going to introduce myself and tell you a bit more about me and my background in crafting and knitting and crochet and weaving and spinning. And so today is going to be a bit different, and I'm not sure which way I'm going to go with this podcast. I was thinking about recording a podcast together with my 12-year-old daughter because she's a very talented and colorful girl, and she loves to draw. She always helps me picking out colors for crafts, for knitting, for instance, for if I want to make a shawl and I'm a bit in doubt which color to use. I just go to her and she said, well, Mom, this is a good color, or you can choose that one, or oh, I really like this one. And she has the same taste as I do in colors. She's very colorful as well. And well, that's just great. So she's always very helpful. So I really wanted to record this podcast with her, but unfortunately the only day that I'm able to record a podcast is on Friday, since that's my day off. And in the weekends, well, this is a part of my introduction as well, because I have 4 kids. A boy named Kelvin, who is 16, a boy named Merlijn, which means Merlin, in English. And Nova, she's 12, and Sophie, the little rascal, she just turned 4 last Saturday. And when they are around, it's just not, I'm not able to record a podcast. So recording together with Nova is maybe something we will do in the future, but not just yet. So please bear with me. Maybe in the future she will join us. I am going to share something that she made with you guys and show you really how talented she is. And maybe put some pictures in here somewhere or in there. Or maybe I'll just show you something about that later. Or in other podcasts. Maybe she'll join us sometime. That would be fun. Well, introduction. I told you about my family. I have 4 kids, like I told you. I'm also married to Harry, whatever you want, it's the same name. And Harry is always motivating me to be crafty as possible. I work on a technical support department. On the phone and through email, I ask questions of customers who have technical issues. The things I do here are so creative and it's so different from the work that I do. So that's funny. We have a dog called Ruby. I am a fantasy and science fiction geek, and Ruby Gamgee is a family member of Samwise Gamgee, from the books from Tolkien, Lord of the Rings. He's not featured in The Hobbit. And well, Ruby, our beagle, she's 9 years old. We have a Jack Russell Terrier called Sammy, she's 14. And we have a new puppy and her name is Daisy Gamgee, which is also a relative of Samwise Gamgee, and she's lying here next to me, and I don't want to wake her because she's asleep. I'm afraid that if I wake her, she'll just run all over me and start licking me in the face and wants to cuddle, and well, that's cute, but that's not what I wanted to show you today. I'm being attacked by a puppy. Well, attacked. Cuddled to death. She's so cute, but she is a Jack Russell Terrier, so sometimes she can be a bit wild, so I'm very glad she's sound asleep here next to me. But I'm sure you will see her in one of the other podcasts, or maybe later today. As I said, I love fantasy and science fiction, watching films, series, and reading books. I haven't been reading a lot of books lately because my knitting and spinning hobby, the things that I do the most at the moment, are taking up all my time. So I'm not really able to do any other stuff at the moment. And sometimes I'm even dyeing wool, which is something new for me. And I will show you some things that are behind me here, some things that I made myself, but I'll show you later. So today's podcast will be a bit different. Of course, it's a bit awkward for me to sit here and talk to a camera. Never done that before. So, and I'm not sure what things I'm going to say in the episodes to come, or what things I'm going to talk about. Things that for me I do want to discuss with you guys are visits to craft shops, to craft fairs, and also what inspires me. Because I always love the fact that when I look at other podcasts, people tell a bit more about themselves, about the things that they do, the fairs that they visit, other people that they meet, and I think that little personal touch in a podcast is great because, well, this is a community, and the knitting community is just great. I also want to tell you a bit more about how I came to knitting and spinning and weaving and crochet. I guess it all started with my family. I was thinking this week when I drove back from my work to home, it takes 20 to 30 minutes, so that's not that long. But I always, I was thinking about making this podcast, and then I was thinking, what can I tell about my past and how I started with knitting or crochet, and what inspired me to do that. But then I thought, I could not think of one person in my family that wasn't creative in one way or another. Maybe some nephews and nieces, but all my aunts and uncles, all my grandparents, they're all very creative. My grandfather was a carpenter. My grandmother was an amazing knitter. Well, as I said, my grandmother was an amazing knitter. My other grandmother was very good with crochet. She made so many curtains. She made blankets. She made shawls, rugs, tablecloths. She embroidered as well. And I will show you some things that she made because we still have them in the family. There's this huge shawl that she made for an aunt of mine. That was gifted to my mother again when a couple of years ago, I'll show you the Christmas tablecloth that she embroidered, and she was so talented, and she was so sweet and patient, and she taught me how to crochet, but I found it really difficult when I was a child, so I never did anything with it. I'm thinking about other talented people who I can mention. Well, my father, of course, he paints and he draws, and he's just very creative. He's retired now, and he's always busy doing things with his hands. Whether it's outside in the garden or he's painting, he's always doing something. And I think I take that after him because I'm not a person who can sit still. My mother is more of a knitter and she embroidered as well. She's not doing that a lot at the moment. But it's just really nice to have such talented family members. And you know, when I was growing up as a teenager, I was still being crafty. I was working a lot with polymer clay, or painting and drawing things. And let me see, I remember that a lot of my classmates always made fun of that a bit, but to me it was normal. Everybody in my family was very talented and crafty, so it would have been strange for me not to. And my aunt, who's my dearest aunt, Annie, Annie, we call her in Dutch, she is one of the most talented people in a lot of things. She, at the moment, she's doing a lot with ceramic clay, but she also crochets and knits. But she makes amazing things, and I think if I go back to the person that really inspired me the most, it was her. Because even though my father always did things around the house, and I could always see him sitting on the table and painting and drawing, but I think my aunt always took things a bit more professional and visited craft groups and had this whole room for herself. And she was really inspiring, and she still is. And I just forgot that I wanted to show you something that she made, but it is upstairs. So I have to go grab that for a bit. So I will cut right here and then I'll be back. Hi, I'm back. Well, I just grabbed something that my aunt made for me. I asked her to make a craft boil, a yarn bowl for me. I'm just going to grab a bit to drink, sorry. And I really like the fact that she's so talented. And she made a yarn bowl for me. And, well, just see for yourself. Isn't this amazingly cute? Amazingly cute. It's so cute. It's a little kitty cat. Well, I painted, she made a nose already and the ears. I painted this in a gradient. It is ceramic clay, but she didn't have the glazing, the right glaze to put on it. And she didn't know what I really liked, what I really wanted to do with it. So she said, well, you can paint it yourself. That's just fine, just varnish it after. So that's what I did. And it's so cute. I must be honest, I think it's so cute and I don't want to break it, that I rarely use it. I do use it, well, I use it. I had to grab some, I always put knitting supplies in it. So I had to first empty the bowl before I could grab it upstairs. That's why it took a bit longer. But isn't it so cute? Look at that. I think it's great. I haven't told you the name of our cat yet. Our cat's name is Cleo, and that's quite a story, because we first thought it was a boy and somebody else raised him. We got him when he was 5 months old, and his name was Rio then, like Rio de Janeiro. But well, since she's a girl, we started calling her Cleo. But yarn ball, yay! Thank you, Aunt Annie. Tante Annie. Yeah, more about my history. Well, very talented family, even though people said to me, well, you know, being crafty like that is a bit old-fashioned and that's for old people. No, it's not. When I grew old, when I got older, I'm not old, but when I got a bit older, I noticed that I was searching for the right hobby, because I even tried to sew. I had a sewing machine, but I found that quite difficult since I don't have a craft room to myself with the kids and all. So I don't really have a place where I can just sew and leave it there and just go do my other things with the kids when they have to go to bed, or they have to eat a sandwich or things like that, or I have to go and cook. So that was quite difficult because I did like sewing, but I really got impatient because I was like, I have to finish this before the kids come back from school. And when you do that, it's just no fun and you get stressed. So that's not the effect I want a hobby to have on me. I want to be relaxed and let the hobby be just sort of relaxing, and that I can really, be happy when I do it and not be stressed. So then I thought, well, what am I going to do for our hobby? I don't know. And mostly I just drew and painted sometimes, because that was more easy to clear up, to put away when the kids came home or had to do something else. So then in 2009 or 2010, in the beginning of 2010 I think, I tore a ligament in my knee and I wasn't able to do much. I did go to work, but after work I was just so tired and my knee really hurt, and I had to keep my knee up. But sitting there in the chair all evening like this, you know what happens, you watch TV and you fall asleep. And my kids say, well, Mommy, you're not really fun. And I guess that was the moment that I really looked for something to do while sitting and watching a movie or doing something else. And then I talked to a colleague of mine. We were having a training together. We were being trained together, and she said to me, well, why don't you crochet? And I looked at her like, well, my grandmother used to crochet, but all she used was white or black yarn, and I found that really boring. I'm not a black and white kind of girl. Well, I do like black in my clothing, but I rarely use it in my knitting projects or other projects, because I don't know, I like things colorful and bright. They make me happy. Bright colors make me happy. Did I already tell you I'm crazy about rainbow colors? And all things bright, yay! I love that. And so she said, no, I don't use black or white yarn. Well, sometimes, but I use colors. And she pulled out this big project bag, and she had yarn in there, and in our lunch breaks at work she showed me all the flowers that she had crocheted. And well, I was hooked. Then there came a point, I guess last year, somewhere in 2016, I noticed that I was not being that challenged anymore by crochet. I thought about making something new, and then I thought, well, I don't know what to make. I already made this striped blanket, I already made that blocks blanket, I already made granny squares. At that point I was mostly making large shawls from gradient yarns, like these. Can you see it? Yeah, you can. Isn't this great? These colors are fabulous, by the way. And making large shawls and wraps from this gradient yarns was something that challenged me again in crochet for a year or so. But then again I got a bit bored with that. It just didn't challenge me that much. And making crochet garments, I don't really like crocheted garments. I think, I don't know why, if I see some ladies make, or man, make them, I think they look great on them, but I wouldn't wear them. And sometimes I think, oh, okay, I would wear something like that, but I'm not. It's not appealing to me to make a crochet garment, because I think knitting looks so much better. And I really wanted to knit socks as well, things that were manageable in my mind to learn again, because I knew how to knit, but I never could keep the tension right. Keeping the tension with my right hand, it didn't work for me. I don't know why. I found it really difficult, and in the Netherlands here I learned how to crochet in school, and I learned how to crochet. Knit. I learned how to knit in school. In the Netherlands, we throw the yarn over the needle, and we don't knit continental. That's not how we learn it in school. When I started to knit, I tried to knit with throwing the yarn. I didn't know there was continental knitting. I'd never heard of it until I talked to a friend of mine, Caroline, from the Colorful Creativity podcast, and she said to me, well, have you ever tried to knit continental? And I was thinking, well, what is continental knitting? I've never heard of it before. And she said, well, continental knitting is when you keep your tension with your left hand, and you just put your needle and you pick up the yarn. You put the needle through the knit stitch and pull through the yarn. And I was like, oh, it's like crochet. And she said, well, yeah, in that way it is like crochet. And when I started doing that, she taught me how to knit continental on a craft fair. I think we had 15 to 20 minutes when we sat together, and she taught me how to knit continental, because it felt so normal to do it like that. So yay, I'm still so happy that she did that. Thank you, Caroline. So I'm really glad that I learned how to knit continental, and from that moment on, I think I first tried to make something that was a bit tricky. I first made little socks for my daughter, which were very cute, and I wasn't really that happy with them, because of course there was some beginner mistakes in them. But well, I was kind of proud of myself anyway. I started the zigzag shawl after that, and the zigzag shawl is a really nice pattern. I don't know what the name of the designer is, but it is on Ravelry. So if you check my project page on Ravelry, you can find it as well, or in my favorites. I have it here. I still have it in my project bag because it's not finished. Excuse me. Grab a drink. Oh, I never showed you my cup yet. It really stands for who I am, I guess. I'm really into fairy tales, and this is Little Red Riding Hood. Look at that. This is a mug by Blonde Amsterdam. Can you see it? Yeah, you can. Little Red Riding Hood with Grandma, bringing cookies. Yay! I was going to have a drink. So, I don't know really what I was telling you, but I was telling you about the zigzag shawl that I did not finish. Because I really had some trouble with the pattern. Because, not trouble with the pattern as it is, because the pattern was very clear, but it was just for a beginner. This was just something that was taking me too long. It was going too slow. You know, when you start crocheting, this is the shawl. I made it with Mille Colori Baby from Langyarns. Can you see it? Like that. It's great. The colors are great. You use two balls and you use two balls of yarn, and you knit every other row. You use a different variegated yarn. You can use two of the same balls, but start in a different color. I was thinking I don't have the colors with me, but I do. And I even have the label. Mille Colori Baby from Langnans. And this is colorway 0055. Yeah. And this is the color. Can you see it? I'm doing this for the first time, so bear with me if it's not focusing correctly. Oh, look, this is better. Why am I holding it on the right? This is so much easier. Well, anyway, as you can see here, focus, yeah. It's a bit more brighter, I guess, than on the. Oh, you can see it good now. This is great. This is just beautiful, isn't it? And then I also have this colorway. And this is colorway 0056. And together, when you use it like this and you start on a different section, I always try to start with colors that don't match, but sometimes you do have rows where the colors are really overflowing, like here. Can you see that? You don't see the pattern that much here. But when you crochet and you make a ribble stitch, oh, it's not focusing on anything now. Yeah, can you see? When you make a stitch like this with crochet and you do it with different crochet stitches, it always goes a bit faster than knitting. So making this pattern in knitting this took me like a month. It took for ages, and at some point I wasn't really motivated anymore to finish it. So I put it in a bag, and with the idea of coming back to it, I haven't yet. But lately I've been talking about this pattern with some friends, and they all say to me, well, just go on and start it again, try it again. So I guess I will soon. I really have to grab the pattern again. It is a free pattern, I believe, so I really do have to look at the pattern again, because I don't really know. I know it's an increase and a decrease, but I don't know exactly how. Well, I'm going to look at it another time. So that's my longest project. I started this zigzag shawl, then I made another pair of socks, and I had some crochet projects that I wanted to finish, a big blanket in autumn colors, and I have it laying around upstairs. I will show it to you later. Hey, look, the puppy is awake. Puppy wants to cuddle. Oh yes, oh yes, little Daisy. Yeah, this is our little Daisy. Oh, isn't she so cute? Yeah, yes she is. I'm going to lay her down on my lap. She likes to cuddle. Aw. She's so sweet, she's lying on my lap now. And the thing that really, there is one pattern that really helped me, because I was still a bit unsure about my knitting. I didn't really know what kind of things that I would make, and I didn't really like my tension. And then I joined the trace kaal. Yeah, trace. And not like trace, but trace. Trace is a Dutch name. And Puk Vossen, she's also, you can find her on Instagram and Ravelry, and I put her name in the description box below. I've never told you about the description box yet. I will put my show notes in the description box below, and on my all new Ravelry group, which I haven't told you about either. And this is such a messy podcast. Sorry, I hope to do better in the future. Show notes on the Ravelry group, SassysheepNL podcast. That's just what it's called, the Sassy Sheep podcast. You can find it on Ravelry. You can find me on Ravelry and then link to my group. That's possible as well. So please visit me there if you want to talk about anything, sassy chit chat, or want to tell me something about the podcast. Anyway, you can find my show notes below here. And I was talking about Puk. Puk Vossen is a very talented Dutch knitting designer, and and she also gives workshops, and you can always find her on several craft fairs. I have to rearrange my dog. And she is, well, she's, as I said, she's very talented, and she had this pattern called trace, which is the pattern of a cowl or a scarf, if you like. If you can make it a cowl as long as you want, and then it just turns into this long tube, and you can wear it as a scarf. And she had this, it's a very simple pattern. It's just you knit in a round for 10 rows, just knit stitch, and then you have this purl row, and then you go knit stitch for 10 rows, and that's really it. You can do more fancy things with it if you like. And she had this cowl for 3 months. I also joined her winter cowl last year. I joined the summer cowl in 2016. That was the moment that I really knew that knitting was my thing, when I made that project. I used a variegated yarn like this. I showed you before. This is Unicut yarn. It's acrylic cotton based. It has 2 threads that are acrylic and 2 threads that are cotton. It's 4-ply, but it's not plied, just 4 threads. So it's not plied at all, you can see it. And having a gradient yarn like this, it's beautiful if you make a scarf, because you can really see the gradient growing from one big color to another, and I think that's beautiful. And I really was in love with gradient yarns like this for a while. I still like them, but at the moment I'm more into speckled colored woolies. And the great thing about, I still have, this is my trace cowl, shawl if you like, because it is long. And the great thing about this is that this is making miles in knitting. Just doing knit stitch, just knitting endlessly. And I did this when we went on holiday. I started it, I guess, a week before, and I took it with me on holiday, and I finished it a couple of weeks later when we got back. And the funny thing about this whole huge long cowl is you can see where I started, and this was really the changing point for me in my knitting, because I knew that this was something that I would be able to do, and that knitting no longer seemed to me like this big, huge, difficult thing that I would never learn. Well, I started here, and you can see that the stitches are not that neat. The tension, you can see that I did screw up my tension. You can see, for instance, here and here, I guess, that my tension is just a bit off. And then I go a bit to the blue, and you can see that it's getting better. Started here, not looking all that perfect, and just then I'm turning pink again. Hi. And then I got to the yellow, and the yellow is even looking better, looking more even. And then I go to orange, a bit of a salmony color, I guess. And when I finished it, it just looks nice and even. And so making this cowl was really a great pattern to learn. So if you want to check out, Puk Vosse also has a Ravelry group, and I don't know if she's hosting another trace cowl this summer, but if she is, join. Because if you are a beginner in knitting, and you do want to knit more, and you do want to do a simple project that will give you a great result, this cowl is going to do that for you. Using a lacy yarn will make a great trace as well, and not as warm. It's not extremely warm outside at the moment. I think it's 20 degrees Celsius or 18 degrees Celsius. But it was warm 2 days ago, and the warmth is still a bit hanging around in the house. So I went to the midwinter wool, as you like, in Winschoten, I believe, in December. And I went with my daughter, Nova. They had a lot of wool there. There were sheep, merino sheep, and other I was going to say other brands. Other brands of sheep. And normal sheep. And I saw some people weaving there, and I already had someone I know on Twitter and Instagram, and she told me about weaving, and she posted pictures of weaving, and there I started weaving with wool roving, and oh, that's so much fun. I'm going to show you some of my weaving projects later on in this podcast. But that was really was the reason that I really love the feel of that wool roving. And then I really started to get interested in spinning as well. And I really like to spin. I even joined a spinning group. It turned out that a girl that I do CrossFit with, that's my sport, CrossFit. I do that 2 to 3 times a week. And I learned that she was also a spinner and a knitter and a crocheter, and I didn't know that, so that was really funny. I met her on Midwinter Wool, and from that moment on we got more in touch, and she really turned into a friend of mine. And now she hosted this spinning group, which is a 5-minute drive from my house, every Friday. And I go there, and there are 5 to 10 women there spinning. Oh, that's so much fun and so inspiring. So after that craft, so my hobbies did change, and I am investing more time in knitting and the hobby, and making a podcast was kind of a logical next step. Well, now I'm going to tell you about my finished objects, because I've told you a lot about me, and I would like to hear a lot about you. And if you know some other podcasts that you say, oh, they're a must watch, please go there, please let me know. I would love that. I finished a couple of objects last month. I joined the Mild Magic Cowl by Stephen West. And I guess you already, for the watchers that made that pattern or seen it before, here's one of the Mild Magic shawls that I made. I'll show you the other one, because this is lying here like a beauty. This is my Galaxy Mild Magic shawl. I love this, playing with color. Don't you? It's great. Marling like this is beautiful. Anyway, I joined the Mild Magic Cowl, mystery cowl. And first I made this one. This is the Galaxy colored. I have white, blue, pinks and greens, and really dark purples in it. And I called it my Galaxy Mild Magic shawl. And it is huge, so it is a bit difficult to show. I finished this about a month ago. I'll just start on one side. I did not put tassels on the Galaxy version, but I did put tassels on the rainbow version. I got the clue on Friday, and I finished clue 2 on Sunday. So I was like, I'm not going to sit around all week and work only on my vanilla socks. I want to make another Mild Magic shawl. So I did. And I put tassels on it. And this is the rainbow version, because I had so many rainbow colors lying around. You can see some yarn sticking out. I can see that here. And that's because this is all weaving in ends. And if you are using it, sometimes just one of those ends just pops out. I do sew them in rather tightly, but you can't help it. If you wear it a lot, you will see some. If you wear it a lot, you will see some ends sticking out sometimes. Oh, I'm dropping it. I'm not going to tell you all the yarns that I've used in this one, because, well, look at this. It's just too much. I did use a lot of old Rico Merino DK yarn in this one. I say DK, it doesn't look DK, no. With the whole Malt Magic shawl, you hold 2 strands of yarn together. I used a 5mm Knit Pro double pointed needle, and I used Rico Merino yarn, which I already had laying around. I had this little web shop in 2010, but at some point in 2012 I couldn't manage it anymore together with the kids and everything, especially because there was quite high demand of that yarn at that moment. Maybe you remember it. It was a moment when, especially with crocheters, Rico Creative, it was called Rico Creative Cotton, and I had a lot of that yarns, but I also bought some merino yarn, and a lot of those are in here, especially the yellows and the reds and the orange, because I had a lot of that lying around. Here you have some mohair. Look at that, brioche, mohair, brioche. Ah! Brioche and mohair. And a little tassel. Don't you just love it? Hi. I always look at tassels at the little dolls. Little ballerina. And in this section I used, this is section 4, I guess. I think this was section 4. Look at this, isn't this gorgeous? In this section I used 2 yarns I bought from Caroline from Colorful Creativity. I'm just going to grab a card. This is her card. You can find her on Etsy as Caroline. And these are 2 yarns held together. Just Vanilla Rainbow Sparkle. That's the name. I don't know if you can see that, a little glitter in it. So using 2 variegated rainbow colored skeins was really nice. It got a really blobby, speckly effect, which I love. And it really contrasts so nice against this rainbow, because this is just a rainbow. So I'm not going to tell you all the yarns because I've used in this one. It's just too much. So I'm going to put this away. So that's a finished object. It's 3 meters in length. The wingspan in total is 3 meters, which is huge. But I'm going to take them down. My old roving that I've dyed a week ago. This one, this is the galaxy colored Malt Magic shawl. I'm holding it upside down. I'm sitting a bit backwards. I guess you can see that, because this one is even bigger. It doesn't have tassels, since if I would have put tassels on this one, I'm just 1 meter and 65 centimeters long. So I'm not that tall. So if I would have put tassels on this one, I would have tripped over the shawl. Look at this one. This is the middle. I'm holding it upside down yet again. Oh no, I'm not. Oh no. And this is the middle. Look at that. It is huge. Can you see it? And a little tiny tassel. I did put a little tiny tassel here because I did make the braid in the middle on the rainbow version, because I used only a couple of yarns and I didn't switch it, and I didn't want to weave in all those ends again, or braid all the ends. So I did make a braid on this one. Don't you just love that? In the middle of a scarf, just a braid. That was such a clever idea from Stephen West. This is a Stephen West pattern, of course. I think I already told you that. Here's a tassel, just a little one. This is in the middle of the shawl. And then we go further. Woohoo! Ah, this pink. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at that, pinky. Dee 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 dee. Go further and further and further. In this shawl there is some hedgehog fibers. Yarn. Over here is a little bit from I Knit or Dye. That is the, oh, you see one of those ends. This white colored speckly yarn with a lot of pinks in it is from it's I Knit or Dye in the Apocalypse Zombie Apocalypse colorway from the shop I Knit in Waterloo in London. And I visited there last year, and we visited, me and my husband and my eldest son, and that was a lot of fun. And I finally had a pattern which I could use it in. The pink I showed you is Pinky Swear on sock, merino sock yarn from hedgehog fibers. That's actually, it's not only that, because I held the Pinky Swear together with another pink purple colored yarn, variegated, and over here I held the Pinky Swear together with the Zombie Apocalypse yarn from I Knit or Dye. And I don't know which what kind of yarn this is, because I was gifted that yarn. Let me see, this is hedgehog fiber Monet. This is hedgehog fiber Bali. And I have some Drachenwolle in here that I picked up at a craft fair in March. Let me see, I have some white from Rico Merino. I held that white together with the Zombie Apocalypse again. And I do have some colors from Wol met Verve in here as well. Some merinos and some 75-25 sock yarn. Huge big ass shawl. And after this I wanted to knit something quick because I made 2 of these in 6 weeks. And this is huge. Wow, huge. Falling Mold Magic shawl. Then I wanted to do something else. So I made something I knit in a week. I thought it was going to take me 3 weeks. But no, I knitted it in a week. This is the abalone cardigan from Beata Jezek. I don't know if I pronounced her name correctly. Sorry if I am not. She is the indie dyer that makes hedgehog fibers yarns. Look at that, Garter Ridge. Gorgeous, isn't it? This yarn is from Sandra's Craftfulness. She has an Etsy shop. Sandra is really talented. I'm going to put this again in the show notes below. And she made this yarn. This is 2 colors held together. It's a red with gold sparkle, gold stellina in it, and with some cherry colored, almost cherry colored speckles in it. And another that does look a bit the same, but it's a bit more, it has a bit more, well, it's not really brown, but pink brown color in it as well, and that really complements it. So this is gorgeous. Don't you just love the color? Beautiful. And it took me only a week. I was really surprised that I would be able to knit a cardigan in a week, but it is on a 5mm needle. It was knitted on a 5mm needle, so you know it does go a bit quicker, and the pattern was very simple, and it isn't that big, and it doesn't have to be that big. So I was really happy to see that I could eventually sometimes really make a cardigan. Yay, cardigan! Anyway, the Do I have more finished objects? No, well, I do, but I'm not going to show you everything I finished in the last years. I did dye some wool, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to show that to you. You know, I started spinning, and I wanted to dye some wool as well. Just have a bit of fun with it, and I got this really extra fine merino wool roving from. I bought it from Kim. Kim Gringhuis Wool Creations is her little shop. She doesn't have a web shop or anything, but she does sell at craft fairs sometimes, and she spins. And look at that, this is so soft, it's like a cloud. You cannot feel this, but I can. And it's so, you can see it, it's so soft. No, I did not make this one. Nova did. My 12-year-old daughter made this one. Isn't this great? Doesn't it look so cool? Rainbows! I made this rainbow version myself. Oh, you can see how soft it is. It looks great. You can see how soft it is in here. It's like a cloud. And it does feel like that. If it looks a bit sturdy or tough, it's not. It's just incredibly soft. I also made this a rose garden colorway with little green speckles. You can see it here. This is just yarn for myself, what I'm going to spin with, and it's so much fun to test with dyeing wool. It was just a test, and I used icing colors, food coloring, because from Wilton, because I did not want to use any chemicals around my kids and my dogs. So, and especially since Nova wants to help me. This is I finished this one, and I thought, well, this is a zombie colorway, isn't it? It just looks like blood is smeared, especially this one. Someone has died, and all their blood is coming all over my yarn. Look at that, isn't it that big? Oh, I'm so curious how this is going to look when it's all spun up. I don't know what I'm going to make with it, but it's great. It was just so much fun doing this. It was really motivating. And the last wool roving that I dyed was this one. Purple and blue and a bit of pink. Look at that. Oh, how's that going to look all spun up? I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to spin it. If I'm going to use, if I'm going to spin it by starting with only purples and picking out all the purple bits and doing first purple and then more blue, all the blues, and then do the purple, but I don't think so. I think I'm just going to pull on it and have this bit with purple and this bit with blue, and but I'm not sure yet. I'm going to try this. I'm going to see what I'm going to do with that. Yes, so that's something that I also did, and I dyed some yarn. I had some, as I said, I had some Rico Merino DK yarn lying around. I'm just going to rearrange my puppy again. Aww, she wants to lie on the wool roving. It is so soft, I can't imagine. Yeah, I'm going to turn around, and these are going to go there because I did not dye them, but I did dye these beauties. So as I said, I had the Rico Merino yarn lying around. It is white, and I'm not a white kind of girl. That's just not who I am. So I wanted to do something with it, and it's they say it's a sport weight, but of a DK weight, but I don't really think so. I think it's more of a sport weight when I use it in projects. And I dyed this one. I dyed two rainbow colored skeins, and I did tie them up myself, and it was my first time, so it is a bit messy, as you can see. I started with pink, went to a bit purple, to more purple, to blue, yay blue, green, yellow, oh look at the yellow, and beautiful orange color with a bit of red, pink red I guess here. And it was my first time ever dyeing yarn, and it was so much fun, and I never imagined really dyeing yarn like that. So really like it. And I made 2 of these. This one is a bit messy now, but that's okay. I don't know what in what project I'm going to use it, but I think I'm going to use it in with 2 other colors that I recently bought from Caroline, and I'll show them to you later. And I also made these lovely blue, green, blue skeins. These are just 50 grams each, so this is 100 grams held together. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I really wanted to play with color. These two skeins were originally very, you can see it over here a little bit. They were really light green and light blue, but they were really soft tones. Oh, there I am again, focus. They had a really soft tone, and I was never going to use them because they were a bit boring. Sorry, people who like really soft colors. I don't. I like brights, like this crocheted blanket. This is a bit mossy green. I used the Kelly green colorway, and with a bit mossy, I put a bit of yellow in the little cup that I mixed it in, and then I got a really nice leafy green, and it goes to blue, and it does even have some speckly dark blues in it. It's great, isn't it? It's so much fun to do this yourself. It's just for my own. I'm not going to sell any of it, but it's just so much fun. And I also made, just like the the wool roving that I made in the rose garden color. Look, this one. I was inspired by that. I really like that effect with all the greens in it. And I thought, what if I dye yarn that way? With green and red and pink. This is just green and pink. Green and pink, green and pink. With some speckles of green and dark cherry pinks. Oh, love it! I love it. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but having yarn lying around, that's great. What I'm working on at the moment is a Find Your Fade. And I already started a Find Your Fade right before I made the Mild Magic shawl. I started a fade, and I love the colors, but I did think while I was working on it that the color change was just a bit too hard. I did not like the color melt that much. A Find Your Fade shawl, you can find it on, if you're a knitter and you don't know about the Find Your Fade shawl, you've been living under a rock. Andrea Mowry is a designer. I don't know if I pronounced her name correctly. She has a Ravelry group, and you can find your Find Your Fade shawl there. And this was Hedgehog Fibers Pinky Swear colorway. Looking at that, it's beautiful, isn't it? And I was at the lace section, and then I blended the color into this one. This is from Wool met Verve, a colorway, I don't know the name. It's also a sock yarn, just like the Pinky Swear is a sock. It's a merino sock yarn, and it was kind of difficult memorizing the pattern because it's just increasing like this is not how I'm used to. I'm used to increasing like this. And if you increase like this, if you're always used to doing that, this is just different. And it's a great pattern, it's written out very clear and I think it's great, but I really had a hard time doing it. So I was making this and then the Malt Magic shawl spoilers came out and I looked at the swatch that Stephen West made and it was with a lot of the colors that I was going to use for my Find Your Fade, and that was in my, well, this is my Malt Magic shawl. You can guess what I did. A lot of these colors, this and this color, I was going to use a color change that looks a bit like this in that Find Your Fade, but I thought the color changes were a bit too big because you can really see that the color is melting into another and you can really see those stripes, and I really wanted to make a Find Your Fade with a bit of a more faded, because it's, of course it is a Find Your Fade. I really want to make a more faded shawl. So I wasn't really sure about the colors, and then the Malt Magic came out and I thought I'm going to make the Malt Magic shawl. Oh, I also made this little stitch marker for myself from polymer clay. Look at it, isn't it cool? Yay, it's focused. It's a donut, yay. Cute, isn't it? I love making things with polymer clay. Focus. The camera's focused again, yay. So yeah, Find Your Fade. Look at this. Drea Renee knits is she on Ravelry. Great pattern. Go check it out. And I thought, well, I'm not going to make this anyway. I'm going to do the Malt Magic shawl and think about it again, check out other colors. I don't know if I'm going to rip out this bit or if I'm going to start over, but I'm going to finish this one, but not today, because then I bought some new yarn at this new shop near my home, which is called Juffrouw Lanterfant. Actually, it's not in my home, but near my job. I work in Groningen, and she opened a shop and she sells luxury yarns. And she opened 2 or 3 months ago. And she has gorgeous luxury yarns, like hedgehog fibers, like Malabringo lace, like cowgirl blues. And I even believe she has some Drachenwolle. And, well, go check out her page. She does deliver, she does has a web shop, so you can buy it there. www.juffrouwlanterfant.nl, and I will also show it in the show notes. And she has this fabulous shop, and I visited there and I bought some skeins. I really didn't know what to do with it yet, but I just love the colorways. And then I lined them all up and I thought, oh, this would make a great Find Your Fade. So I started with a color that is a bit, that does have a more big color change. I started with the Bali that I already had lying around. Look at that, gorgeous Bali. And then I melted it into Monet, which melts into Boombox. Over here it's big, so Boombox is here, this color. Then it melts into Wild Card. And this very last row I'm knitting here, you cannot see it correctly, but you can see that this strand is a bit more yellow. Maybe I can, look at this. This is called Banana Legs. Banana Legs. After Banana Legs, I'm going to melt Hula Hoop, which is the best colorway ever. Look at this, Hula Hoop. Hula Hoop. Oh my god, that's a fabulous colorway. Woohoo! Isn't it gorgeous? It's bright and yellow. These colors are far out of my comfort zone. All the neons. I'm not really into neons. Well, actually, I am. I didn't know it yet, but I am into neons. So that's going. So this is the Banana Legs. It's going to melt into the Hula Hoop. And after the Hula Hoop, I'm going to use Pinky Swear, which is almost the same color, see, as the pink, which is great. So I'm going to do that. So, well, I'm working on the Find Your Fade, which is huge already. And I did even use a 3.5mm double pointed needle on this, a Knit Pro, to make it not as big as my Mild Magics, which is great, but I do want to make this a summery shawl to use at summer evenings when it's cold, a bit chilly, I mean, and you can use it to wrap yourself around, and I didn't want to make something that would make me look like a mummy. Which is fine. A shanklet is great, a blanket and a shawl shanklet is great to have that, but this is another purpose. Wear it in the summer when it's chilly. Ah, love that lace. It's tedious, the lace part. It does take a long time. You think it's a lace part and you just do yarn overs, but it does take some time. And doing just the garter stitch is easy. I'm just over the halfway using here. This is it's not really the halfway point. I believe I am quite halfway at the moment, but this is the point when you start not increasing only straight up with this spine in the middle, but you just make the shawl a bit more asymmetrical, and that's that point where you do that. I am going to block this, of course. So, working on the Find Your Fade, it is a lot of fun, and I hope to can show you some progress in my next podcast. I'm not only working on the Find Your Fade, I'm still working on my vanilla socks. I've had these on the needles since January, which is fine. Hi, I'm back. I was interrupted in the middle of my sentence. Oh, just grabbing the puppy. I was interrupted in the middle of my sentence by the postman who had a package for my neighbors. Unfortunately, no yarn for me. Well, vanilla socks. I have vanilla socks on the needles. Vanilla rainbow socks made by Opal Yarn. Knitting 2 at a time. The skeins are a bit different because they're from different dye baths. I was gifted one skein and the other I already had lying around, and you can see that they are different. You can see it immediately. This one is a bit darker and has some speckly thing going on, and this has that a lot less, which is fine. They're just socks. I'm going to make an afterthought heel. I use a contrasting yarn to pick up later on, tear out the contrasting yarn and pick up the needles, stick needles in there. These stitch marker are just in here for fun. I made these also myself. I made these myself as well. Look, little emoticons, aren't they cute? And over here I have one that blinks. Doesn't it look cute? I love it. Of course, rainbow. Love rainbows. God love rainbows. I've had these on the needles since January. It's I'm using higher sharps. Look, they are really sharpies. Sharps. No, you're not seeing it. Look, they are really sharp. I use this for easy knitting, train knitting, visiting friends and knitting. So I don't really have to look at what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm also working on something else. When we're talking about purchases, I'm going to tell you about some things that I bought recently, but this is something that I did buy recently. I joined the West Knits Yarn Along 2017. In Holland we say 2000 still, I don't know why, but 2017, and oh my, I'm so excited to join. And the first pattern we got is the All the Angle shawl. I'm going to show you not the pattern itself, but only the front page. Yes, you can find this front page at this info on Ravelry as well. I'm going to not show you the lower section. But this is the shawl. all the angles. And this yarn is the yarn that we got. So if you, oh, I'm sorry, I never said spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, I hope you saw it. I will put it in the screen, sorry. I hope I haven't spoiled anything for anybody. Anyway, sorry. The two yarns that we got are Frost Night and Berlin Nights from Garn Stories, which is the first indie dyer to participate. She is the first yarns we got from her. She has really beautiful yarns. Go check it out. Garn Stories. King Fiber and Undercover Otter are the other two indie dyers that are making yarn for this cow. And this is the Garn Stories Merino Singles. I've never used Merino Singles before. Merino Singles Berlin Nights and Merino Singles Frostbite. I've never worked with Merino Singles. Oh, focus! Ah, there I am again. I've never used with Merino Singles before. I've never knit with Merino Singles before. It's very different than plied yarn. And it looks a bit felty. It's not, but it does look like that. When you look at it, I don't know if you're able to look at these colors. It does look like it's felted. Oh, dog hair on it. Look at that. This is Frostbite. And the same greens and blues in here are featured in the Berlin Nights colorway as well, so they really fit perfectly together. I'm dropping my project, and so spoiler alert, if you don't want to see what this is going to look like, I'm sorry, but this is it. This is the I'm showing you the wrong side. This is all the angle shawl. This is the beginning, and this is so funny because you're using not single rows, short rows, and with short rows, the rows really get shorter. So I'm almost here, but you increase here as well. And this is like every row you make is making the shawl bigger, but every row is shorter, which is great. I want every shawl to work like that. I'm making a shorter row, but larger shawl. Yay! Usually you're doing it the other way around. Oh, don't you just love these little white bits? The other section of the shawl, the white section over here, is I'm going to do that with a frostbite, but I think I'm going to use some other colors with that as well, because this white bit, I think I am going to start with the frostbite, but when I'm over here I'm going to fade the boombox colorway in it. I didn't show you my project back from the Find Your Fade, did I? Oh, look at it. Isn't it cute? And I totally forgot. Oh, what's the name of her shop? She's amazing. Ah, Jibby Roosu's. Here it is, the little label in it. It's a huge, big Halloween ghosty bag. And the best thing is, you won't be able to see it, I guess. I'm going to try. But it is, no, not really like this. It's not dark enough, but sorry about that. It's glow in the dark. Glow in the dark. It's so cute. And I love it. Thank you. Woo. Project bag. Yes, I was going to tell you about my Find Your Fade. Yes. Sorry. The boombox colorway, I use that in my Find Your Fade shawl. So I'm going to show it to you. This is Boombox by Hedgehog Fibers. It's not a merino single, but it's also fingering weight. And look at the way it matches the Frostbite and Berlin Nights. This only has a bit more pink in it. This doesn't have any pink in it, but look, I love the way they look together. This is the yellow and blue in this one is also featured in the Berlin Nights and Frostbite, so I think they would look great together. This is Wildcard, also a hedgehog fiber colorway. Sock, merino sock yarn. It's not really sock yarn because it's 100% merino superwash yarn. Actually, I don't know if it's really superwash. It doesn't say that on the label, I guess. It is 90% superwash merino and 10% nylon. I was incorrect. I'm very sorry. Look. Are you able to read this? Yeah. In the Boombox colorway. That was Boombox. This is Wildcard. And I thought, well, I can also use Boombox and Wildcard together because that looks great as well with this. So I think I'm going to fade it. I'm not really sure. I cast on all your angles. I didn't really want to cast on before I finished my fade. But everybody in the Yarn Along group on Ravelry was already casting on. I couldn't help myself. So I cast it on, and I'll just see. I really want to finish my fade before I really start working on it, but maybe I'll work on it simultaneously. I did that before. I worked on 3 or 4 projects at the same time and not really monogamous to one, and it took me ages to finish those. So I really want to be monogamous to my Find Your Fade, and after that I will use some different yarns or different colors or whatever. After that, I am going to work on all your angles shawl, but I really want to work on one thing really and have a backup project like the vanilla socks, but I don't want to have too much on the needles because that stresses me out. Then I get this feeling that I have to finish everything, and if I just work on 1 or 2 projects, that's fine. So I'm not taking on too many projects. In the Yarn Along, we also got some other small gifts. One of those, again, spoiler alert, one of them is this little notebook of recycled paper. It's really great. You look at it and you think, oh, it's a notebook, cardboard, but the pages, you cannot see it very well, I guess. You have to really feel it, but the paper is really soft and the pages are it's just not something it's a bit luxurious, and you can see that it's really neatly finished, and it's a good way to write down your progress or any notes or anything like that. I rarely use that. I also write on my patterns. I mostly write on my patterns. I don't know if other people do that, but I scribble all over the pattern. Maybe I can show you. I have that on my Find Your Fade shawl because I have to count rows and I have to keep up with things, and then I write things down. Let me see if I can find a section. Yeah, I'm not going to show you too much of the pattern because it's a paper pattern, of course. Look at this top bit. I'm just counting there and I'm writing down the colorway that I'm using, just a little handy reminder for myself. So that's the way I do it. So I rarely use notebooks, but maybe it's a good idea to keep up knitting notes and make a little booklet with my progress on patterns and what yarns I use. I guess I should do that, and I even have a notebook lying around for exactly that purpose, but one way or the other I just never really get around to it. I rather knit. In the Yarn Along we also got, with the notebook, we got this little box with colored pencils. Yay! Always a good thing. So yeah, well, I'm really happy with that. I'm going to put this back in the bag. I'm going to rush through this last bit. The purchases I did lately, the most important things that I purchased were the yarn along, of course. That's the thing that I've purchased. And really having fun with that in this great project bag. I was showing you the wrong side. Here it is again. Great project bag. And I also bought, at Juffrouw Lanterfant, I also bought these great cocoa knit stitch markers. These are little marshmallows. Stitch markers, stitch stoppers, sorry. They look really hard, but when you squeeze them, they are so soft. They are incredibly soft, and I love the colors. They're all pink and orange and yellow. Lying with me here is another skein. I actually have two skeins that I bought recently from Caroline, from her Colorful Creativity yarn, Kralaline. There it is. This is her cardigan, and I bought this. It's a colorful soft sock, 80% merino, 20% nylon. She also has the price on here. I don't know if it's okay if I show it to you, but anyway, it's on here. I can't help it. This is the colorway. No rainbows without rain, and it's a colorful soft sock. And you start, I'm holding it up like this, and you think, great, that's not your color, Saskia. You've told us today that that's definitely not your color. It's not. No, more gray. Gray. But the gray is variegated, and I do like the fact that it's a bit of a warm gray. It even, in some lighting, it even tends a bit to purple. Look at that. That doesn't look like boring, dull gray, does it? I'm not a gray person, but... And it also has some lighter section, especially when... See, it's a bit lighter here. Because... it's a rainbow! Woohoo! Oh, isn't this gorgeous? I pulled it apart because it's a bit more difficult to see when it's skewed up like this. Look at that. Isn't it great? Oh, this is so great, and it's so soft. It definitely is soft sock. I'm going to make something pretty with this. I don't know what, but I was thinking about using my hand-dyed, home-dyed rainbows with it, because I think it does fit well, even because it has a bit of that purple. Does look a bit like, look at that bit here, it does look a bit like this dark grey section over there. So maybe I'm going to use that, I don't know yet. This is a sport weight, and this is a fingering weight, the colourful soft sock, but it is more, it's silly because I don't think you will be able to see the difference, but the hedgehog fibers is definitely a lot thinner than this one, so I think held together, I think this will work, don't you? Look at that, the difference between the thickness of the yarns. I think they don't differ that much. So amazing. I want to wear it like I'm going to wear it like this. Look. Yep, it looks great. And big hair today. Well, so yes, I don't know what I'm going to make with it, but Caroline, you did such a great job. And I know she has more of these in the shop. So if you want to buy, please check out if she still has them in the shop. No Rainbows Without Rain, which is a perfect name for this colorway. And it's true in life as well. So, oh, look at this bit, this dark bit. I just keep falling in love with these skeins. Every time I see something, I think, oh, this is so pretty. Oh, the dark bit here, and then it's more lighter here, and oh, rainbows. She also has a colorway coming in the shop update called Pink Fluffy Unicorns. It's so great. This week I had this really hectic day, and you know that mornings when you wake up and everything goes wrong? I had one of those mornings. I was at work and I felt I felt so bad. I just had this really stressful morning and everything went wrong, and our youngest was tired and she was crying, and you know, that happens. It's okay. But then I said on Twitter that I felt a bit bleh, and she sent a picture of her colorway Pink Fluffy Unicorn. Well, it didn't completely turn around my mood, but I was a bit happier after that. Oh, it's so... And she also has this great colorway coming up. I forgot the way she called it. I forgot what she called it. But it is just rainbow speckles. I think it's called a different kind of rainbow. That's the name, a different kind of rainbow. I really think so. And she has this, that's just a white skein of yarn with a rainbow made of speckles. I mean, I'm not allowed to buy any more yarn. Well, I am, but not by myself. I'm telling myself I'm not going to buy any more yarn. Not this week. And next week I will go to Amsterdam with my husband and my daughters, and we will visit Stephen and Penelope there, and we will also do some other lovely stuff over there. Visit another shop that I've been wanting to visit for a while. So, you know, I'm not going to buy any more yarn today. But I am tempted. I don't think I will buy any more yarn today. I'm not sure. You know, that's how it goes. But no, I really don't think I will buy today. But maybe in the future, when she has another shop update with yummies like that, I will buy more things like that. But this is a great colorway. I'm so happy with it. Look at the way it looks. Oh, look at the way it looks when you turn it around. Great. That's almost everything I wanted to show you. What a long podcast this is going to be today. Sorry for that. I received some gifts on Mother's Day, and that's the last thing I'm going to show you today. I'm a big fan of Doctor Who. I told you science fiction fantasy is my thing, and Doctor Who is love it. And then on the Mild Magic group, I was speaking there, you know, on Ravelry, you type of course, but I had some contact with Mary Clusters, that's her name. Her real name is Monica Evans, and she designed, she had this police box MCAL on the Jimmy Bean's Wool group on Ravelry, which you can see. I'm not going to show you too much because it is a mystery cow. Oh, sorry, but yeah, here it is, police box. Of course, you can only see yarns. It is Clue 4 has just been released 2 weeks ago, or last week, I don't know. But anyway, I'm not going to show you any of the finished project because I don't know if it's really finished already and if it's okay for me to show you here. So I got this from Mother's Day. Wow, you know, I already knew about that, and I told my husband that that was something that I wanted to make, and he just bought the pattern for me. So I'm going to make a police box cowl, And I know it's huge. I can't tell you the shape. It's shaped like this in the neck, and then it goes like that, and you can wear it as sort of a little poncho thingy, and it looks great. And I think it would look really great with my black leather coat, which I wear in spring and in fall. It's a great coat to wear then, and it's not that long, and I think that will look great on it. But if that wasn't enough, I also got a Doctor Who card game, sorry. So that was also a gift for Mother's Day, but I also got this. And immediately my eldest son, who is also a big Doctor Who fan, said to me, "Mom, you need to make me one of these." And I know why, because look at this. Exterminate, exterminate. It's an exterminate hat with little Daleks on it. Ah, Daleks! Woohoo! Exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. I'm being silly, but isn't it great? And well, yeah, I don't know what to say. I love it. Exterminate, exterminate. Yeah, well, me impersonating a Dalek. Yeah. First podcast. Yay! These were the gifts I got. And I was thinking about other things that maybe I've been given lately. I did get little stitch markers when I bought this wool that I dyed from Kim. But I don't know where they are. I think they're in my little purse I use for stitch markers and old needles. So I'm not able to show them to you. But look at this. Oh, look at this. Oh, so soft. I guess we are coming to the end of this podcast. This was really fun to do. I didn't expect myself to be this relaxed talking to a camera. Please visit again and tell your friends, and thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon. Bye!